most disturbing videos ever caught on camera.
Benjamin's coming out, so if you don't want to get bitten, you better get out of here.
We start at level 1, but the deeper we go, the more disturbing and the more unpredictable things become. Level 1. Pitbull Attack. On June 22, 1987, in the Glassell Park neighborhood of Los Angeles, California, a horrific incident befell an animal control officer. Florence Crowell, a 33-year-old officer, was dispatched to investigate reports of a pit bull named Benjamin, weighing 55 pounds, 25 kilograms, attacking two neighbors of its owner, Edlin Joy Hauser, aged 37. The neighbors, shaken, claimed Hauser had trained the dog to be aggressive, prompting their call to animal control. Alongside Crowell, a television news crew arrived to document the situation. After interviewing a neighbor about the attacks on himself and his daughter, the crew began filming Hauser and Benjamin. Hauser, visibly agitated, demanded the crew leave, warning that her dog might attack.
Put my arm up to protect myself. At that time, I think I'd fallen down and he grabbed a hold of my face. Luckily, it wasn't my throat. And then when I was standing up, he chewed on my leg here.
Moments later, as Crowell arrived, the door swung open, and Benjamin charged, lunging at her with ferocious speed. Crowell's attempt to fend off the dog with her baton failed, as Benjamin tore into her hands, crushing bones and drawing blood.
Benjamin's coming out, so if you don't want to get bitten, you better get out of here.
A bystander smacks the dog. But Ben's already ripped her up bad.
Julie, call 911.
Hauser rushed out, struggling to restrain her dog, but the pit bull broke free, attacking Crowell's chest with savage bites. The scene grew chaotic, teetering on the edge of disaster, until a bystander intervened, striking Benjamin with a stick to drive it away.
A bystander smacks the dog. But Ben's already ripped her up bad.
Hauser, terrified of the consequences, was arrested, while Crowell, after 5 days in the hospital, mercifully recovered fully. Despite Hauser's tearful defense, claiming she couldn't control her dog's violent behavior, the court found her guilty of assault with a deadly weapon, her dog, and sentenced her to the 6 months in prison. Firecracker explosion in a sewer. On October 11, 2020, a bizarre and terrifying incident occurred in Kangle County, Gansu Province, northwestern China. A young boy, walking with friends after school, reached a parking lot near a street. One child rode a bicycle, another clutched a soccer ball, their group moving casually together. But one boy, unaware of the consequences, decided to take a dangerous risk. In a curious act, he lit a firecracker and dropped it through the grate of a sewer manhole. In the asphalt, his grave mistake was sitting directly atop the manhole cover. CCTV footage captures the catastrophic moment. Within a second of the firecracker's descent, an explosion blasted the cover upward, hurling the boy 10 feet, approximately 3 meters, into the air. Spinning twice before crashing to the ground, he landed several meters away as his shocked friends fled in panic. Remarkably, the boy rose, slightly injured, but per reports, sustained no serious harm and fully recovered. The explosion resulted from the firecracker igniting flammable biogas, such as methane or hydrogen sulfide, in the sewer. A larger firecracker could have triggered a far deadlier catastrophe. Such incidents, alarmingly common in China, underscore the dangers of seemingly innocent pranks. Level 2. The Wild Bull and the Bizarre Spectacle. On January 29, 2006, in Mexico City, Mexico, an unexpected and violent incident disrupted a bullfighting event. Bullfighting, one of the country's grandest sporting and theatrical traditions, drew thousands of spectators from around the world each year, eager to witness unforgettable moments. This time, however, the crowd at the Plaza de Toros, the world's largest bullring, was in for a starkly different experience. Nearly 50,000 people filled the stands, anticipating a thrilling show, particularly the appearance of a colossal bull named Pajarito. Despite its name, meaning little bird in Spanish, the 500-kilogram beast was a towering, muscular force. As the crowd roared with excitement, Pajarito entered the ring. But in that moment, a horrifying and bizarre turn unfolded. Overwhelmed, it seemed, by the deafening cheers and blinding lights, Pajarito veered wildly, ignoring the matador and charging in an unexpected direction. Chaos erupted too quickly for anyone to intervene. With terrifying speed and powered the bull barrel toward the red protective wall encircling the ring. But the ordeal didn't end with a mere collision. In a shocking display of strength, Pajarito used its massive hind legs to leap over the 5-foot, roughly 1.5 meter, barrier, vaulting out of the ring and landing directly among the spectator stands. Panic seized the crowd as people scrambled to flee, desperate to escape the rampaging bull. Pajarito, equally frightened and disoriented, thrashed through the crowd, unintentionally colliding with spectators in its frantic bid to escape. The atmosphere grew unbearably tense, thick with fear. After several agonizing minutes, a handler subdued the bull with a sedative injection. The incident left 7 spectators injured, though. Mercifully, none lost their lives, and all fully recovered. The bull's caretaker later stated in an interview that Pajarito's actions stemmed purely from fear and instinct, with no intent to harm.
He didn't want to charge anybody, because if he really wanted to harm anything or anyone, he could have killed 20 people.
He insisted that had the bull meant to attack, it could have easily killed 20 people, yet it did not. To this day, the spot where Pajarito landed in the Plaza de Toros remains marked with a plaque, preserving the memory of that chaotic spectacle. The hostage crisis and the brave cameraman. On October 11, 1990, in Sao Paulo, Brazil, a harrowing hostage crisis unfolded. Marcelo de Jesus Bastos, a 20-year-old, and his accomplice entered a clothing and sports equipment store downtown, intending to steal tennis shoes and apparel. Their armed robbery went awry when local police entered the shop. Panicked, Marcelo's accomplice fled, leaving him alone. In a desperate move, Marcelo seized Luciana Silva Oliveira, a 14-year-old shop assistant, as a hostage, clutching her tightly and pressing a pistol to her head. Emerging slowly from the store, he was surrounded by over 50 police officers and a growing crowd, using Luciana as a human shield. For 2 agonizing hours, a tense standoff ensued, with neither side certain of the next move. Luciana, visibly terrified, seemed on the verge of collapse. The air was heavy with dread, every moment teetering on the edge of tragedy. Then, a man with a camera dared to approach. But this was no ordinary cameraman. Claudio Manuel Falcao, a highly trained special operations police officer, had been dispatched to resolve the crisis. In a bold and cunning plan, he disguised himself as a news cameraman, using the ruse to close the distance to Marcelo and Luciana. Marcelo, seeing no escape, agreed to let the reporter approach to record his demands directly to Brazil's president. Within seconds, Claudio seized his chance. Dropping the camera, he swiftly grabbed Marcelo's hands and Marcelo struggled, attempting to fire, but the scuffle was brief. Claudio disarmed him, and Luciana, trembling but unharmed, was freed from her captor's grasp. Marcelo was immediately arrested, while Claudio, the disguised officer, emerged as a celebrated hero lauded by the public. In a later interview, Claudio revealed that Luciana's terrified face reminded him of his sister, who had recently passed away, fueling his resolve to save her.
She made me remember my sister. She looks a bit like my sister. I can't talk about it.
Luciana, learning her rescuer's true identity, met with Claudio to express her profound gratitude. Level 3. Child's fall from a building. On November 3, 2022, in Zhaoqing, southern China, a sudden and miraculous incident was captured by CCTV. Li Ming, a young man seen preparing to enter his car, froze when he heard cries nearby. The screams audible in the footage drew his attention upward. Spotting a toddler plummeting from the second floor of a building, Lee abandoned his car and sprinted toward the child. With no time to hesitate, he positioned himself beneath the falling boy, arms outstretched, determined to prevent a tragedy. The child crashed into Lee's arms with alarming force, and though Lee couldn't fully catch him, the boy landed without striking his head, cushioned by Lee's effort. The toddler hit the ground, but thanks to Lee's intervention, sustained no serious injuries. Bystanders and the child's family rushed to help, lifting him to safety. Reports confirmed the boy suffered no lasting harm and fully recovered. Lee Ming, despite a severe muscle strain in his right arm, earned widespread praise online as the video went viral. He later stated that the child's safety was his sole priority, vowing to act again if faced with a similar crisis. His selfless act of beacon of humanity. The house fire tragedy. On May 11, 2025, in South Jordan, Utah, a devastating fire erupted, its harrowing moments recorded by a Ring camera inside the home, around 6:30 p.m. On that Sunday, for reasons initially unknown, a loud explosion echoed from a room out of the camera's view, triggering the fire alarm's piercing wail. The Burgoyne family, all present in the house, quickly realized the danger. But the flames and thick smoke pouring from the unseen room left little time to react or attempt to extinguish the blaze. The mother, shouting frantically, guided her children toward the exit. The father, equally desperate, yelled for everyone to evacuate as the fire spread with ruthless speed, engulfing the kitchen where the camera was mounted. Soon, flames and smoke consumed the frame, obscuring the home in a haze of destruction. Miraculously, every family member escaped the inferno in time, but the fire claimed one victim they couldn't save. Callie, their beloved pet cat, was resting upstairs under the parents' bed when the blaze erupted. The chaos unfolded so rapidly that no one could reach her, and she perished. Jody Burgoyne, who ran a home-based business crafting and selling women's handbags, lost her workspace and livelihood to the flames, inflicting significant financial damage.
All baby pictures from my first two children, which I didn't have those backed up. I didn't have an iPhone then. So I'm so grateful.
Investigations later revealed the fire's origin, a lithium-ion battery in a scooter, which exploded, sparking the blaze. In interviews, the Burgoyne family expressed profound gratitude for surviving with their lives and loved ones intact, despite losing nearly everything else. They extended heartfelt thanks to their neighbors and community, whose emotional and financial support helped them navigate this ordeal. A GoFundMe page created for the family, aiming to raise $50,000, has reached roughly half its goal, with ongoing donations and messages of encouragement pouring in, fueling their hope to rebuild. Level 4. Preventing a deadly train station incident. On Saturday, April 17, 2021, at Vangani railway station in Mumbai, India, an unexpected event left onlookers breathless. Around 5 p.m., a 6-year-old boy walked hand in hand with his mother along the platform. Drifting slightly to the right, the boy edged toward the platform's precipice. In a horrifying instant, his foot slipped, his hand broke free from his mother's, and he tumbled onto the tracks below. The tragedy deepened. His mother, blind and unable to pinpoint her son's location, collapsed in panic, reaching desperately toward where he fell. The boy, struggling frantically, tried to climb back onto the platform but couldn't. The situation turned dire as a high-speed train approached, barreling toward the helpless child. All seemed lost, until Mayur Shauki, a railway worker, appeared in the CCTV frame, sprinting with fierce determination along the tracks. With unwavering resolve, Mayur reached the boy, hoisted him onto the platform, and leaped up himself, mere seconds before the train roared past. Station staff rushed to ensure the safety of the rescued pair, while stunned onlookers marveled at their survival. The boy, unharmed, was reunited with his mother. Mayur's heroism earned him a commendation and a 50,000 rupee award from the Central Railway Authority. He pledged to donate half the sum to support the boy's family and education, a gesture that amplified his selfless act. Mayur's courage sparked widespread praise online from India and beyond for averting a tragic death with mere seconds to spare, a story that could have ended far differently with the slightest delay. Level 5. The Greenland Tsunami. At dusk on June 17, 2017, a catastrophic tsunami struck Greenland, its terrifying onset captured in viral videos. A massive landslide in southern Umiamaku, Nunavut, sent millions of cubic meters of rock and earth plummeting from a height of roughly 1 kilometer into the Kangalek Fjord, unleashing colossal tsunami waves that surged westward. Classified as a mega tsunami, the waves began at an astonishing 100 meters high, racing toward the small village of Nuagatsiaq at an average speed of 275 kilometers per hour. Within 7 minutes, the waves, reduced to about 10 meters upon reaching the shore, struck with devastating force. One iconic video, filmed by local fishermen, shows the sea growing restless, waves swelling with increasing ferocity and displacing boats along the coast. The fishermen, initially curious but wary, approach the water, sensing something amiss despite no prior warning of the tsunami. Seasoned in the sea's moods, they detect an unnatural shift. Before they can act, the waves surge dramatically in mere seconds, crashing onto the shore. The fishermen, now frantic, flee as the cameraman captures the final towering wave before lowering his camera and sprinting for safety. His breathless shouts and panicked screams echoing through the footage. The final frames show only blurred glimpses of ground and sky. Fortunately, all individuals in the video, including the cameraman, escaped the waves in time. Not everyone was so lucky. The tsunami dragged 4 people out to sea, who have since been considered. Furthermore, 7 people were slightly injured and 2 people were seriously injured by the catastrophic natural disaster. 11 buildings were destroyed. Rescue helicopters evacuated approximately 200 local residents to the district capital of Uummannaq. Deadly explosion in a workshop. On October 22, 2021, a catastrophic explosion rocked the elastic factory, a facility producing industrial fibers and explosives in the village of Lesnoy, Ryazan, 270 kilometers southeast of Moscow, Russia. CCTV footage from a workshop captured the chilling moments before disaster. Workers, overseen by a female supervisor, were methodically moving fiber-filled packages along a conveyor belt, the scene deceptively routine. Then, chaos erupted. Without warning, a spark or technical fault ignited the highly flammable fibers in the packages on the conveyor. Flames leaped from one bundle to another with alarming speed, engulfing the area. The supervisor and workers, startled, noticed the blaze, but had little time to react. Panic set in as they abandoned their tasks, scrambling toward a ladder to escape the platform. But within seconds, a massive explosion tore through the workshop, its shockwave hurling everyone to the ground below. The camera's frame, briefly showing flames, was swallowed by thick smoke. Obscuring the devastation as the video ended. The fire spread across 1,700 square feet, approximately 58 square meters, reducing the workshop to ruins. Over 170 firefighters and rescue workers rushed to contain the blaze. Russia's Emergency Situations Ministry assured nearby residents faced no immediate threat. Tragically, reports confirmed 16 workers perished in the explosion, with 1 survivor sustaining severe injuries but ultimately recovering. Such deadly incidents, often linked to aging infrastructure or lax safety standards, remain disturbingly common in Russia. Level 6. Jet ski incident with a cargo ship. In 2022, Rob Warner, a professional mountain biker, champion and YouTuber from England, embarked on a reckless adventure with friends in the Solent, a busy shipping lane off Britain's south coast. Seeking a thrilling experience, they rode jet skis in an area teeming with massive cargo ships, a decision both daring and dangerously foolish. Warner, no stranger to adrenaline, decided to push the limits by steering his jet ski as close as possible to a colossal cargo ship, aiming to touch its hull. These vessels generate powerful waves and currents capable of swallowing small crafts in their wake, a fact Warner knew but chose to challenge, driven by bravado and a bet with friends. With a GoPro camera strapped to him, capturing every heart-pounding moment, he approached the ship. At first, all seemed under control, the thrill of the stunt fueling his excitement. But within seconds, disaster loomed. As Warner reached out with his left hand to graze the ship's hull, he accidentally triggered the jet ski's kill switch, instantly shutting off the engine. Now powerless, his jet ski succumbed to the ship's relentless current, dragging him toward potential doom. Frantic yet exhilarated, Warner struggled to restart the engine as he was pulled beneath the water's surface, teetering on the edge of being sucked under the ship. Miraculously, he resurfaced, regained control, and restarted the jet ski, escaping with his life. Shaken but alive, Warner, expressing disbelief at his survival, sped away with his friends. This bold or reckless stunt could have easily ended in tragedy, but luck spared Warner from a fatal outcome. Man engulfed in flames on the highway. On October 18, 2005, a devastating crash on a Sun Valley, California highway led to a nightmarish aftermath. Officers Paul Waymeyer and Jeff Jensen, patrolling Highway 7D, were drawn to a severe collision. But the true horror awaited one of the vehicles involved. Alexis Reynoso, a 22-year-old driver trapped inside his car, was surrounded by flames, desperately needing rescue. The ordeal was captured by a news cameraman who rushed to the scene. Initially, Officer Paul, aided by bystanders, struggled to free Alexis, while Jeff battled the fire with an extinguisher. The car's doors were jammed, and shattering the rear windows proved futile. Despite their efforts, the flames refused to yield, and Alexis remained trapped. The cameraman, racing to nearby vehicles, secured another extinguisher from a bus. Returning, he found the officers and crowd still locked in a frantic struggle. Alexis, unable to move, screamed in terror, pleading for help as the fire crept from the hood toward the cabin, smoke and debris choking the air. Realizing the blaze was unstoppable, the officers and bystanders resolved to forcibly pull Alexis through the window before it was too late. With sheer determination, they succeeded, dragging him free and laying him on the ground for immediate care. Moments after his rescue, the cabin erupted in flames, a mere seconds delay likely costing Alexis his life. Firefighters soon arrived, extinguishing the blaze, and paramedics stabilized Alexis. The quick-thinking officers and courageous civilians transformed a potential tragedy into a dramatic rescue, saving a life against overwhelming odds. Level 7. Walmart Hostage Crisis. On June 17, 2013, in a Walmart in Midwest City, Oklahoma, a terrifying hostage crisis unfolded. Sammy Wallace, a 37-year-old man, entered the store, appearing at first like an ordinary shopper. But his actions soon stunned those around him. Spotting a 2-year-old girl in a shopping cart with her mother, Alicia Keating, and 12-year-old sister, Wallace approached, abruptly snatching the child from the cart and clutching her tightly. A convicted felon who had served prison time from 2000 to 2011 in Texas and struggled with mental health issues, Wallace pressing it to the girl's throat while threatening Alicia and nearby shoppers. He handed Alicia his phone, demanding she contact a Dallas officer named Kevin, or he would harm the child. Alicia, overwhelmed with fear, complied to protect her daughter.
He made sure that I saw that knife, and he was talking quietly, and initially I thought he was going to make us come with him and leave, and we were going to have to leave with him. So immediately I panicked, and I just started screaming, please help me, this man has my baby, and I screamed on the top of my lungs for everybody to hear.
Store employees alerted 911, and police soon arrived, deploying 2 officers to negotiate with the erratic Wallace. For 34 tense minutes, he roamed the store, ignoring police pleas, the girl still in his grip. When officers offered him a chair to calm the situation, Wallace refused to engage constructively, his mental state deteriorating. He then issued a chilling ultimatum. He would count to 60, and if his demands weren't met, he would kill the girl. The officers, initially hoping to resolve the crisis peacefully, realized the escalating danger. Officer David Huff, a 20-year veteran with hostage negotiation experience, made a critical decision. As another officer distracted Wallace, Huff approached and fired a single shot to his head, ending the threat. The girl, unharmed, was reunited with her distraught mother, who had feared the worst at the sound of the gunshot. Wallace's failed hostage attempt cost him his life. Huff was one of 13 law enforcement officers given the Public Safety Officer Medal of Valor at a ceremony attended by President Barack Obama and U.S. Attorney General Loretta Lynch. Huff's certificate, read during the ceremony, praises him for uncommon poise in resolving a dangerous hostage situation.